The objective of today's lesson is to describe the relationship a branch has with a repository on GitHub. At the end of the lesson, you're going to use a visual diagram to assist in describing this relationship. And my essential question of the day is, what else could a repository be good for outside of software development? All right, I don't want you to freak out. Day 2 of GitHub. We're going to take baby steps with this. I want you to learn some of the big vocab words here. That's what we'll be using throughout our use of GitHub. And then there's a great video to visually walk you through everything I want you to achieve today. And then finally, I want you to try to do your best with the reading. The text can really get into the weeds of this stuff. I'm just trying not to have you freak out here. Remember, with the reading, I'm just looking for some good discussion. That's where we can really hash out a lot of the meaning of the reading is through the discussion. Well, we haven't started, no CSS yet. We're not making anything look pretty yet. We're just getting it published. In progress, we're using Git to type our code, our HTML, and then completed, you should have an account by the time you're watching or experiencing this lesson. Okay? All right, a little review here. Torvalds quipped that the name Git means an unpleasant person in British slang. So what he's saying is he's an egotistical guy, and I name all my projects after myself. First Linux, now Git. Remember, Linux or Linus is the man's first name. And now he's saying he's naming Git after himself, so he's calling himself an unpleasant person. If you have a chance, you should YouTube him and listen to some of the talks he gives. He's a pretty entertaining guy. First, think, write, share of the day. What does nonlinear mean in this context? Git supports rapid branching and merging and includes specific tools for visualizing and navigating a nonlinear development history. In Git, a core assumption is that a change will be merged more often than it is written, as it is passed around to various reviewers. So remember, the whole purpose of using GitHub is so many people can work on a project at the same time. And when it says that a change will be merged more often than it is written, he's saying that you don't have to have 10 different people changing the same thing over and over. Once you've merged that change, everyone can see it and appreciate it and move on with other parts of the project. In Git, branches are very lightweight. So that's the main, that's the essence of our lesson today, is learning about the branches. So he's saying here that they're lightweight. A branch is only a reference to one change, okay? Your next think, write, share. What does a text mean when it says locally stored? So Torvalds has described Git as being very fast and scalable, and performance tests done by Mozilla showed it was an order of magnitude faster than some various version control systems out there. So there are more than one. There is more than just Git. I chose Git because of its popularity, and I think it will be a great tool for such an introductory type of class such as ours. Fetching version history from a locally stored repository can be 100 times faster than fetching it from the remote server. So what that's saying is, when you store something locally, you're storing it on your machine, your laptop or your desktop. The entire repository itself is sitting right there for you to access, rather than making a request or going to a web page and asking for that repository over hundreds of miles. I mean, I know the speed of light is fast, but still having the speed of light work on your laptop itself rather than traveling across the country to whatever server the repository is on, that's going to be just so much faster. So that's what GitHub will allow you to do, is download that repository. Okay, this guy, again, does a much better job than I can in explaining how branches work, so I'll have you watch that. Some notes I took while watching his video was we should not refer to files in Git on GitHub, because every type of file has its own name, okay? Repository is the largest file, right? And then you have other smaller files within that, and then even within that file, that's where you start having your branches. It says here an experimental thing is a branch. So if there's a change, a possible change that can come, a branch is going to be created. So there's two possibilities moving forward with that version. Right here, he's just giving you some directions on what to do when you're on the website itself. I'll leave that for him to explain. Pull requests are made when someone wants a change to be accepted into a branch. And now for us, we'll mostly be working within the master branch. You'll learn more about that later. But for now, just know that when you're working on GitHub, if you're making a change, don't freak out or feel pressured, because that change isn't going to be visible to anyone until you make a pull request for it. So you can commit changes and not worry about anyone seeing that until the Highlander, the person in charge of the master branch, merges the pull request. So you commit changes. When you're ready, make a pull request, and then that's how you move on from there. So the reading, again, it's pretty technical, so don't freak out. Just do your best. The purpose of the reading is to inspire discussion, so have that. And as I finish the video up here, I suggest, for the sake of exploring, you could create two GitHub accounts and try to communicate with yourself and create pull requests to yourself on that. So in that sense, you'll have the role of the Highlander and then just the average worker there. Or if you want to buddy up, that'll be even better. And you guys can do something like the man in the video did with writing a poem as an example. You guys can do that. All right, so on a piece of paper, create a small doodle and label a branch and a master branch within a repository. So that'll be a little drawing to help you do the second part. Here's where the money is in the second part. Why would a repository allow users to create and destroy branches? So what's the thinking behind this branching idea, basically?